Good evening, and welcome to Michael Pepper Tech. We are live. Let me take a second to welcome everybody and take a second to tweet out the link here and get people coming on in, and we will have this wonderful discussion. Welcome, everybody. I know it's a Wednesday, which is an unusual day to see me live. I used to always go live on Thursdays, and now I was live not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, and I'm just kind of testing to find out what days and times work best, and just kind of going live as I see fit. We have some stories to cover, some things to talk about, and I felt like a live stream was a good format to do that in. So first off, there was a news story about Apple and a particular gentleman who apparently was letting Apple know where the leaks were coming from. There was an instance in which an iPhone 11 with an early build of iOS 14 was leaked last year, and he came to them and said, "I know who did this," and apparently has been doing this since then. And basically, he no longer works for Apple. I do believe he said he was let go, but whether we know that or not, I'm not sure. Basically, he wanted to be paid, and they said nope. And so now the story's coming out saying that he was kind of working both sides, and that he was not only working with the leakers, but working with Apple to let them know what was going on with everything. And I think that that's such an interesting thing to, have come about. And I'd be curious to see if they continue with this method, or if this is just kind of something that this person did on their own, or, did Apple know that they were doing this, or did they find out and say, no, we don't want it to come out that our employees are kind of working against each other. You need to leave, or no, we're not going to pay you. Be interesting to see how the story kind of comes out in the coming weeks. Mark, how are you doing? Trell, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming on by. Just some things I wanted to talk about and kind of get in on. And so the next kind of little piece I wanted to talk about was how it seems to be that everybody that kind of came on, you see plenty of videos about, oh, I'm getting the Z Fold3 or I'm getting the Z Flip 3 and this and that. And now rolls in the kind of, I would say, typical stories of people canceling their orders before they come in, before they've even gotten their hands on the devices. They've kind of rolled with the momentum of doing videos about the devices before they get them and gotten all the views from that, and now it's like stepping back. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't criticize other channels for their actions, but I just don't believe that that's something that's right. I mean, if I came on and said I'm buying the Z Fold 3 and I'll have videos for you about it, and then all of a sudden, like a week or two later, came in and said, this is why I'm not buying it. And it wasn't like, oh, I changed my mind, but you know that people know from the beginning that this is what they're going to do. It happens every year. And I don't know, it's just something that I don't see as right kind of in the community. And so, you know, if you're a up and coming creator, I know we have some at least a couple people in the audience here who are kind of starting off and getting into it. And just be careful what you do. Be careful of the image that you create with your channel from the beginning. You know, we all know that there's a sense of community that's right, but there's also a sense of kind of how you create an image of yourself. And Mark and I were talking about that. That, you know, I told him he's welcome to join me on a live stream anytime. I just, you know, said, hey, keep in mind that I don't use certain language, and that's just a decision that I made. I may use it in my day-to-day life, but I don't use it as part of my brand image. And I don't, you know, allow others to use it. And I've kicked people off. I've canceled streams before. You know, I've done sorts of things that most people don't realize because it just didn't happen. And I think that that's important to discuss. And also just the idea of when you're starting out and you approach people, make sure that not only you understand that if they say no, most of us that have been doing this for a little while, and it's not like I've been doing this for a long time, but I've been at this about 2.5 years. And, you know, I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I've been working at my own momentum. And we'll get into that discussion a little bit later here. But just keep in mind that people vet who they're going to have on typically. And if they say no, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that you might not fit their brand or their momentum or you know, the type of stream that they're doing. And do your own thing. You know, if a company tells you no, if a person tells you no, use that as motivation to, you know, to improve. Use that as motivation to learn. I've made mistakes. I've gotten involved, you know, butted heads with people, but you know, we're all adults and we apologize and we move on and we grow from it. And you know, we are thankful for our experiences that we have as content creators. So that's kind of the first two stories that I got in there, or things I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to let you all know that I am looking forward to my Z Fold3 should be here in about a week. It's funny because Samsung doesn't even have any tracking or anything like that, but when I go to my FedEx app and click on, basically it automatically brings in any tracking that's linked to my name. It shows Samsung shipping out on the 23rd and receiving on the 25th. Now, I did talk to the chat, and they said that it could ship out anytime in the next 3 days. I was talking to them. That was yesterday, early morning. So it could ship out anytime before the end of this week. And with 2-day shipping, if that's, you know, this is weekday business day, that would put it right there on about next Tuesday or so, which would be around the 24th, 25th. From past, I can say that Samsung tends to be pretty quick on the shipping, especially with pre-order deals. And so I look forward to that. I most likely, depending on my wife's schedule and things like that, will either be doing a live stream unboxing kind of Q&A on that, or just a regular unboxing video and then a kind of 48 or 72 hours with it on next weekend live stream. If you guys kind of want to keep track on that, make sure to head on over to my Twitter and follow me there, and you'll be notified when I get the device and kind of how I'm going to go about that. I post links in there and keep you all up to date on there. Also, I do have a Facebook page, but I'm not as active on there. Usually Instagram and Twitter. So I kind of worked through those pieces pretty quickly, but the next thing I wanted to cover, and if y'all have anything you want to discuss, you know the deal, put it in the chat. If anybody is free and wants to hop on with me for a little bit, let me know and I can send you the link as well. But the next piece I kind of wanted to discuss is a device that was just announced, are in pre-order stage, and we are seeing plenty of videos come out, and it seems to be that there is a consistent issue with overheating when it comes to the cameras. And it's not just in like 4K 60, 4K 30 mode. There are people having issues where they're inside with the air conditioning on trying to take photos of their kids and it's overheating. And so I think it's important that we discuss that. And I think that's important that Google is notified of this. And I understand that there might be concern, and I want to address some concerns with this. Like, if people are having this issue, they need to make it known. I understand there might be concern like, hey, if I talk about this, am I going to not be a part of Team Pixel? Am I going to not be sent a device? I think that if any company really cares about the reviews and cares about the value of sending out these products to, people across the board, from people with, just over 1,000 subscribers, people with, hundreds of thousands of subscribers to, a few million subscribers or more, that they will want that feedback so they can address that either in a software update before the official release, or they can maybe address that somehow, at least before it makes it mainstream, because that is a huge concern. I mean, everybody kind of knows that the Pixels are known for their cameras, and if there's issues, whether it's some issue with the processor getting hot, if it's issues with the computational photography, and that the 765 really has to crank up and use all of its processing power to kind of layer those images for HDR, and to and as far as like even portrait mode or video, whatever they're doing, if there's a problem, I think that needs to be addressed for sure. And I think that's an important thing to talk about as far as content creation, and as far as even if you're not a content creator, I always say, watch multiple videos. But another good thing for people to do, and I'll say, hey, make sure to check out my social media. It's not just check out my social media, but if some of your favorite content creators, or just content creators in general, have Twitters, Instagram, social media, there is a good value in going on there, because there are times that they will address things that maybe they don't address in video because it's between videos, or some of them that are receiving more and more product don't have time to necessarily do follow-up, but you will see them, maybe one of the devices has become their kind of everyday main device, stepped up from just a review device, and they will post photos and they'll post information, and you'll see discussion, and you can see, you can search topic on devices across Twitter. And I feel like that's a huge advantage. Also, Reddit, of course, is out there. And of course, there's different websites. But I think the advantage of Twitter and Reddit is you kind of get it from the user perspective versus a news perspective, or the perspective of maybe somebody that has a little bit of a bias. I'm not saying that everybody that, these sites have direct bias, but I think that we all know that sometimes we'll see issues in there with where they're not always forward with when there's an issue with something. And Twitter and Reddit and other ways of addressing things, I think that it's important that we let our viewers and our community know that these are platforms in which we exist and will address concerns. And so you know, when we tell people to check out our Twitter or our Instagram, I think that it's important that we express why, and it's more than just, oh, you know, this is where we post links, or this is where, you know, you can keep up to date on our videos, but additional bonus kind of content alongside it. I mean, I post photos on my Michael Pepper photography page using devices and things like that, and I'll post thumbnails and links and to my videos in my Michael Pepper Tech Instagram, but and I'll post things in Twitter. But I think Twitter is also a really good way to see the size of content creators, because you'll be surprised to see that some of your favorite people who may be like strictly Apple are posting about their devices, their experience with their Android devices, you know, Pixels, OnePlus, Samsung devices on Twitter, and then vice versa happens. And so it gets you kind of that opportunity to experience kind of, I guess, the whole image of these people, and to get to kind of maybe even interact and approach in as, you know, of course, tasteful way with your favorite creators, and even learn about new creators, new channels, people commenting on other, I mean, I've found some new channels and found some great content out there because somebody posts a link to it on Twitter, or they comment on somebody else's, and then I see that because I follow, you know, I follow person A, and person B kind of comes on with them. And so I think that that's a significant thing to talk about, is how involved we are with our community. And I always try to reply to comments, of course. And also, I know this is kind of a cheap segue, but if you haven't already, and you're coming across this video live or in replay, make sure to hit that like button, and, you know, let me know down below if there's certain things you want to discuss. You know, if you disagree with me, whatever, agree with me, you know, just interact. Also, you know, subscribing if you haven't already, thumbs up. It really does help. It lets me know kind of what content my people appreciate and what to kind of stay away from, and, you know, what value to provide to you all. And so, you know, it's good for me because I don't want to waste your guys' time, but also important not to waste my time on making content that the people that have been here and continue to be here aren't going to watch, and it's not going to provide value, and you know, you're going to click on it and maybe just go away. And, you know, I think that's significant to understand. And I also kind of want to cover why I went live and where I've been. So a little bit on the personal side is I've been dealing with kind of scatterbrain, and I know that people can relate to this, especially in tech space, where you know, a lot of us have families and things like that, but more that so than that. And, you know, some of us and some people, you know, work another job, and this isn't the only thing they do, or you know. But for me to address the idea that really my brain, I've kind of been all over the place with what to cover. What I've been enjoying doing is the discussions, and I've really missed doing these live streams. And I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if there's one person watching, or if, like right now, I have 6 people watching, and I appreciate each and every person that's watching this live, and each and every person that comes to watch this afterwards. Quiet. And so what's significant to me is that we understand community, family. We understand the that content creators have to take time sometimes to just step aside. And so for me, it's been figuring out how to declutter kind of the ideas of what I want to talk about and have it become an easier experience to create content, because sometimes sitting down and just creating content when we're going through struggles is not the easiest thing to do. And so we need to kind of appreciate when our fellow content creators take the time to sit down, do a live stream, and share their gift with us, share their vision, share their knowledge, share their creativity when they're doing this in a B-roll or doing this in a style that's kind of cinematic. And I think that that's undervalued, underappreciated, and something that's really important to discuss is the mental health aspect in all of this. And just that we know how it is, and we also as a content creator, I know how it is when I put out videos and people aren't watching, and maybe it's something that they don't like or strikes them wrong, or even when I'm discussing certain things, and maybe it's something they're struggling with as well. And so if that's the case, that's the other reason social media is really important. Just let me know. And I love talking things through with people. I love bouncing ideas off people, helping people work through their struggles, whether it's with content creation, whether they have a piece of tech that they need a question about it, and just to go from there. And so I think that that's just something very important for us all to really look into and appreciate and understand with relation to technology in general, that not everybody will have the same experience as you, and to just take time to ask questions to get to understand what they really need it for, and not to put our own necessary bias in there. Because I use an iPhone. I'm using it as a webcam. I use 13-inch M1-based MacBook Air and Gen 4 Apple Watch, but I also use the OnePlus 9. I'm using a Razer Blade 15 2020 i7 10750H and an RTX 2060 with 32 gigs of RAM. I upgraded it myself to do this live stream in an LG Ergo 27-inch 1440p monitor. And I'm, sometimes I'm a Coke person. Sometimes I drink Pepsi. Sometimes I drink essential water. Sometimes it's Nestle Pure Life. Sometimes it's Seagram's, making me happy. We all have our own preferences and our experiences when it comes to things in life, with what we drink, what we eat, what we like on our pizza, whether or not, pineapple's okay on pizza. I'm not a big fan of it, but if you are, that's your thing. Which place has the best fries, the best burger, preference. So when it comes to technology, I've had people ask me, hey, should I get a, for example, should I get the Galaxy Book Pro 360 or should I get the Surface, Surface Book or Surface Laptop or one of the Surface Pros? And they said that they want to, they're going to use the webcam and they want to have a good quality webcam built in. And so for them, I recommended any of the Surface devices. I said they don't always provide the best price value, and to make sure that you, if you're getting an older model, that it has all the ports and things that you want and the condition, and to understand if you need any dongles, which with most devices you need nowadays, with the exception of like I said, some of these spec'd out gaming laptop devices. And And so, you know, that's an opportunity for us to kind of look outside ourselves. And I think that that's a benefit when you look at your device to see like, hey, what's the downsides? It doesn't mean that it's a bad device, but no device is perfect. And I think that that's an expectation that we need to provide that value to, I should say I need to provide that value as a content creator. And so, you know, when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a device and I'm going to do a review on it, or I'm going to do a first, couple days with it, or first kind of experience, that it's important to do that not just from my own perspective, because no matter what, yeah, I do have a bias in there, and I do have devices that I use and devices that I don't, and I have reasons why I don't use devices from certain companies. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't, and it doesn't mean I won't recommend it. I will just warn people about experiences that I've had. So our experiences create opportunity. Our experiences point people in the right direction, but at the same time, our experiences can also kind of make us have negative views towards something, when maybe we were the 1 in 100,000 that saw things in the particular light. And so I think that that's significant to understand our own native biases towards the device, and even towards like when we see a video and I'm not only a creator, but I'm a subscriber, I'm a viewer. I watch, there's hundreds of channels I watch. Like I watch tech stuff, but I also watch a lot of outdoor stuff, some like treasure hunt stuff, some DIY, some car modding, music, art, photography, randomness out there. And it's important when you come upon a channel. I think that if you don't like my content and you don't like something that I'm talking about, let me know. Let me know if there's something you disagree with. Let me know if there's something I can do to make it easier for you to understand. Let me know, do you need, I don't know, is there something you don't understand? So talking about, this whole content creation thing and helping each other out, and bias and appreciation and communication and comments, and making sure that you understand who you allow on your channel and the vision that you want for yourself. Somebody who has come into the tech space and joined and motivated, and who's always challenging my sense of humor. Welcome.
Yo.
Sequence. How's it going?
Michael Pepper Tech. If I'm not careful, I'm going to get Michael Peppered. Yo, man, pleasure. And I really appreciate it. It's an honor. Thanks, man.
So what's really funny is when I first started, I was Michael Pepper Tech Talk. But then I was doing these live streams, and it was Michael Pepper Tech Live. And then I had my regular videos, and it got really confusing because like Michael Pepper Tech Talk, like you would think that that's a live thing. But like, so I kind of shortened it. But then you had people that were saying my channel like it was Michael Pepper TikTok or something. And then some people still call the old name, and I've had to like get rid of the, and my, on YouTube, youtube.com/your channel name, which you get after you hit 100 subscribers or whatever, it's still Michael Pepper Tech Talk, because like to go in and change that, you can do it, but I didn't want to do it, and because like you can only do it so many times per like year or something, so I didn't want to like change it. And I was like, if people know it, it's in like every video, so I didn't want to have to go through, like at that point I was talking about going through over 100 video descriptions to just change like one where it was like, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Is anybody going to actually look at that?
Yeah.
They're just going to click on the link to get there, right? You know, I
Yeah.
posted it all and going through every social media and like every post that I've ever posted a link to my stuff in, it'd be impossible to find. I mean, there's got to be somebody out there that has created some sort of like social media tool, but even then, like, you can't edit tweets, so you'd have to delete them or
Yeah.
like comment on it and be like, oh, my channel name has changed or whatever, or just not care because it's, you know, it's 2 years old and who's gonna probably find that old tweet and post on it. So.
You'd be surprised, man. But no, I get it. Yeah. Even before how I think I told you the story before where I hadn't been on Twitter in so long and it was like, oh, that's an old, like, why do I have such an old picture? Or like, I'm not it, like the DJing thing. I was like, oh, I'm going to take that off my name because that's like a part-time, you know, now like hobby or whatever. And I was like unsure of like to do stuff. And then even moving it too, people are like, who the heck is this? Like, you remember the first day on Clubhouse? It was like, who's this? Mark, who are you? Like, oh, it's you. It's the DJ. Oh, this. And it's like, even still, I think if you see me pop into Viper's thing, he's like, we got the DJ in the house. What's up, Mark Sequence? Well, yo. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I guess that's not as bad as like other people have it where they bring up old. I mean, like, imagine if it was like an old channel name or like an old persona, if I was trying to leave something like that behind.
I've seen some really weird channel names, and it's like, so you're on like Twitter and you see their @ name, and it's like @crunchy something 57. I was like, what the heck is that? Like, and it was probably like their old like MySpace name or like a Yahoo name that was given to them back in the day, or like something AOL or like some of these that just created like funny names and they just went with it.
Where they give you a suggestion, you type something and like, here, try. What do you think of these? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
So let's see, Tech 702. I'm just using my iPhone 12 Pro Max with Epoch Cam as my camera. And as long as I make sure that like I didn't accidentally tap it and lock the focus in when it's turned the other way and then swing it around and I'm not blurry the whole entire stream. Like I did one time, I didn't realize that like I was partially in focus because it was okay because it's halfway between me and my monitor, but I was only in focus when I was forward, and anytime I moved back, it messed things up. It works really nice. I like it. I'm using it wireless right now, so I don't know, at my end, it looks like there might be a slight delay, but on YouTube, it looks fine as far as I can tell. I don't know, Mark, at your end, does it look like there's like a bunch of latency between when I talk and you hear me?
Right now, being here with you in the back, no, it's fine. Watch, say something.
So it's, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's going to be a slight delay because this is wireless, but at the same time, like I have a 25-foot cord XLR going, so there could be some delay there too, sync stuff, and then StreamYard has delay. I mean, I can be wired in with a regular camera and have just as many issues as things being wireless. So the advantage of being wireless is I don't have to worry about a cord. The only cord I have in is I have my iPhone hooked up to my big, massive battery here so that it doesn't possibly die halfway through the stream. But because that's the one thing, it doesn't matter, even like my 11 Pro Max, with that thing had insane battery life. Usually I could go like a 3-day weekend with that thing. Like 16, 18 hours of screen on time. I could kill that thing in a like one time I did 2.5 hour live streams, and it was basically I had to, after the first one it was 40%, so I had to put that thing on a charger before I joined the second live stream, because that's one way you can definitely kill these things. And we all know that the newer ones create even more heat, and so that's kind of a oh, and Tech Love Mama likes your color you got going on there. She's a big fan of like the purples and the.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she said that on the my debut video, which no one should go check out, by the way.
Hi Kia, how are you? Mark, if you don't know, Kia is another content creator, kind of up and coming. She covers a lot of different things. I
think she reached out to me too, so I said hi. So I think we're connected now. Yeah.
So I always like to connect people because like that was quite literally when I first was doing these creator interview streams that I did for a little bit, which was I tried to do them as often as I could, and it was the idea of it didn't matter if you were like a newer creator or somebody that was more established, just getting people on and talking to them. And like I would ask questions, even if I knew the answer, or like even if I knew that people knew the answer, because it was one of those like, how often do you think that somebody actually sits down with a larger channel and like asks them how they got started, or like asks them about like what they wish they did differently, or all sorts of like, there's just things that like their community might know, but I don't want to assume anything. So I think that's a great, like, that was one of the things I really enjoyed doing, and I need to get back into it. And now I forgot where I was. Linking people. So that was one of the reasons for it, was like, so you have like a newer creator that's coming on, and like, I think they're doing really good with what they're doing. And, you know, I might not have this huge channel, but like Viper says, you know, it's the eyes that are in front of you, and like the names and the people you interact with more than just on, because I don't I interact way more on like Twitter and things like that than I would on here. And
but even here you have, you know, 6 pairs of eyes, so you're doing something right.
So like connecting people, like that's my ultimate goal. Like quite literally, like I foresee like I don't know if it would be a company doing it or how it would be like, or if I become like funded enough to be able to do it, but just like flying around the States and even around the world, and like going to people and interviewing them, and like even connecting people would be awesome. Like obviously I'd have to be really careful with that, because I wouldn't want to bring like some wacko stalker and be like, hey, Flossie Carter, here's your #1 fan, and she's out here like, yeah, and like freaking out, you know, and turns out she's like some wacko stalker or something. So I'd have to be careful with that. But the idea of like connecting people that just normally don't would be awesome. Like if I could just be like, how much, here's a flight, I'm gonna fly you from wherever you are, we're all gonna meet up like in New York or something, and I'm gonna pay for like a week for everybody to stay at a hotel. We're gonna hang out all week long. We're gonna go like by the lake and go out on a yacht. Like that would be my ultimate goal someday, to just like be able to get people together and just hang out and chill, and just not even necessarily talk about technology or even anything channel related, but just like connect people, because I feel like that's something that needs to be done more.
Yeah, I was talking to, I think, Trent and Oscar about how social media is it's a nice thought. Initially was to supplement socialization and connection, not replace it, which I feel has been what has happened to her. It's like, why hang out with you when I can, you know, call? Why call when I can text? Why text when I see your updates, or I can follow you one time or subscribe to you one time, and I did my good deed for the forever, right? And it's like, yeah, I know him. We're linked on here, or we're friends on here or on that platform. I can see that it was his kid's birthday, or I can see photos from that trip he went on, or, you know, that she went on. Good for them. Oh, they graduated. Wow, you know, how cool. Like, oh, they have a kid now. Sweet. And then it's like you haven't heard from these people in months and years and stuff.
What's crazy to me is, so I used to be like, when I was younger, I was a really social person. And then like middle school came through, and I started being less social. And then high school was like really, really, really like I hung out at like the nerd table and was kind of kept to myself. But at the same time, like nobody messed with me, because I was one of those like, yeah, I might be at the nerd table, but I also knew the kids that would like beat you to the ground if you mess with me.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those like
anti-bullies. Yeah.
Great thing. But like, and I don't know if it's when COVID came through, but just now, like, and I've been trying to get out more and more and like reverse it. but I basically developed like an antisocial disorder. Like I just like it makes me panic to be out in groups of people, and I never used to be that way. Like I basically would go out to karaoke, and I went out like every day for 2 months, and that's not amongst people. Like that's usually, even if it's like a small amount of people, you're talking about 25, 30 people, but you're talking about like like a 200 square foot small like bar or small space, right? You're not talking about like
everyone's whites of their eyes, and you're all I mean, whether I know some people abstain from like alcohol but still are there, and like they get like the jitters are enough because they're like, oh, I'm gonna sing the song and I don't know these people, and that rush of it, like, let's do it, like just get out there and do it, and that's always fun.
Yeah, to me it's like the crazy people that go on these roller coasters, right? That they love it because they have like fear of heights and stuff, but for some reason they just love the adrenaline rush on going on a roller coaster. Like I get that that's what singing is to some people, but it's weird because I can, like, to this day I can still, like, I'd be fine going out to karaoke and doing that, and for the most part it's because any of the places I would go, there'd be guaranteed 15 or 20 people that I would know, so I'd be comfortable with it. But for some reason, like, just walking, like going into a store sometimes just makes me really anxious. And so being able to do this, communicate face to face like this, and have, 7 people, or how, I mean, I don't know, that a number is not always accurate that it gives in here, watching, and people watching later, is like one of those really cool things, because it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not a recluse by any means. Like, I'm not like locked in it's not like you're gonna have to like rush in my house and come through like 20,000 boxes to get to me, and right. I'm gonna have like a parrot or some, that's a reference to a TV show. But anyways, like, you're not gonna find like some random, or like 50 cats, or a half starving dog. Like, I go outside, but like the idea that you can just approach people
outside my door, says Michael Protect. I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna cut that part.
I walk down to the store, I interact, but like there's just something about, I think that a lot of us developed that, though, like the whole, like when everything was in lockdown and went to like mask mode, that we became like extremely paranoid about being around people for a bit. And I think that a lot of that increased, and I don't want to, we could get into the statistics of, like, I'm guessing that depression rates and like suicide rates spiked, and accidental like emergency deaths probably went up because people were just, everybody's inside. So some horrible event, some tornado comes through, some fire comes through, some, whatever comes through, and everybody's like already on edge.
Well, let's not forget, I mean, I don't know how dark or light, but a certain type of violence went up since lockdown happened. So that, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know to say it. No.
So it's,
but yeah, I get you.
So it's awesome to, to be able to sit in front of a camera, or like go online and just interact with people that are like-minded, and it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to, you can be like social without actually being like directly in person necessarily. But even apart from that, like, I could be the most social person in the world, but the cool thing that, like, I can come on here and I can have you on here from wherever you are, and I could have like somebody in China on here, and like somebody's in France, somebody's in Germany, UK, somebody like South America, I think you could be wherever, and we can just be like communicating face to face and talking about whatever is awesome. And at the same point, like, if I don't like you, I can just I can just remove you. Like, sure. I can't really do that in real life. Like, I can't just be like in a bar somewhere and like just pick you up and throw you out without getting in trouble, unless I like own the bar.
Exactly right. I think even like Faisal from Coffee Talk, shout out to both of them, that he's from, I think, Russia is where he's comes in almost every day, and he's like, hey, what's up, guys? How's everyone doing? And this and that. And that's already amazing. Like, whoa, what the hell? Like, Russia, like, they still exist, Soviet Union and blah, blah, blah. So obviously I'm joking, but it's with something to where you have socialization essentially 24/7 on demand. Like maybe if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. You don't do, cancel your live or this or that, or put out a tweet or don't say anything, or however much or little you want to go in whatever time for however long. It's like, hey, and then when that mood changes, it's like, you know what, I'm going to go. I have a few things to say, or there's some interesting stories, which I imagine is something similar to, right? Because this was, I tweeted that it was impromptu. Is that what this is, right? This wasn't scheduled. Okay.
No, it was just random. I'm like, you know what? There's a few stories I want to talk about, and then we'll just talk. And I know you had said something about you join me at some point, and I'm like, Mark doesn't seem to ever have a life, so I know I'll at least have one person that comes on with me. No, I'm kidding. You are like always everywhere though.
I spent plenty of time by myself on my own and like, yeah, on purpose, but it's like, okay, let me see what's going now. Let me swing it. If anything, sure, an overcorrection, like what the hell? Why not at this point, right? Go all the way this way to see what this is. And then, I mean, for having done that, like in real life, and then it's like the digital thing was like, whatever, like, I'll just use the internet whenever I want to look something up or do this, do that. And then, even like Netflix to me isn't what it was now. It was just like, what DVD do I want to watch? What movie haven't I seen? Let me mail it. And like when before that, so Blockbuster was still a thing. Movie theaters were, not, no, you didn't have like that big a risk of contracting something crazily lethal and contagious, right? So now I'm like, okay, well, I've done the real life thing. I never really gave the digital thing a try, right? So come on over here. Let's see. I'm going to see all that there is to see. Talk to whoever there is. I met awesome people. It's pretty cool. It's pretty dope. Even earlier, I believe not to say too many details, but a certain fellow techie is recovering from surgery now, and even just being able to tweet out, hey, come and like let's talk about some tech real fast, keep him some company, brighten his day a little, like if makes him feel good, makes us feel good.
Oh, are you talking
at the drop of a hat?
I know who you're talking about. He's been having some Twitter Spaces from the hospital.
Yeah, that was a good time. I didn't expect that many people to pop in and for it to take off the way it did. That was one of like those like gems of spaces, and not the investment advice ones, not the drama filled ones with like hundreds of people, right, all having the microphone, however many you're allowed to have. The ones where like people don't talk. I don't know if you've been in that one. Like this X amount of people inside, no one's talking. So I was like, oh man, like
that's weird.
Yeah,
like why?
Exactly. But so something like that to where it's like, oh man, even this and that, and I'm like, yes, like organic conversation, popcorn style. Just I was like, okay, that was awesome.
And talking about people popping in and stuff, I'll say hello to Renz.
Hey, what's up, Renz?
Somebody that you will see everywhere.
Yep.
If you ever and then there's so I have people that almost every live stream, at least when I was consistent with live streams. I understand when I do these random ones they won't be there, but and I'll see them like in post live stream, but I have like a handful of people that I know that will watch like almost every video that I do. And, like, we'll try to be at like every live stream if they're awake. Of course, some people like obviously right now, it's 7:42 my time, but like there are people that are like at work right now over on the West Coast, like in California, it's only 4:42. Yeah. There's people like just getting out of work if they work until 5, or on their way home if they work till 4. I mean, my sister-in-law was a nurse, so she would split. Sometimes she would be working the weird, like get out at 7 o'clock at night. Other times it was like the 3 to 3 shifts. And so like, depending on what you work and what you do, I guess, but like the fact that there's 5 people in here right now at this random time of day, like I know if it was a couple hours or so for now, it would be different. But then at the same time, then I have people that watch from overseas where like right now it's like 1:43, almost 2 o'clock in the morning in some places, or even I guess later / earlier than that, depending on what region, but like
Yeah.
you know, Direct Tech, he's in the UK. I think they're 6 hours ahead of us right now. And
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And then I have like, I look last I looked, it was like 18. You're at around 18% of my views are people from India, and you know they're way ahead of right now. I mean, it's it's a Thursday morning there, you know, and
people who can't sleep on Twitter, or if they saw, I tweeted it out. So even sometimes at certain parts of the world, it's like midnight or 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and they're like, I can't sleep. Hey, let me check this out. Oop, jump in, and there's always something going on somewhere for you to interact with, which is pretty cool. And within these same circles too, where more than likely you already like know each other from the tech that you like, or maybe content creators you follow. There's going to be something there, even if it's like hey, oh, you're up too, like I'm up, like why are you? Oh, I'm some bullshit. It's like, oh, the pixels just do it, blah blah blah. So someone somewhere isn't too far away.
What always gets me is there's a live stream that Juan Bagnell and TK Bay do that's called it's the best of our week, and it's always like super late at night. Like I'm talking like it'll be like 1 o'clock my time to like sometimes I've, depending on when they've done it, sometimes it's like there'll be streams that are going on and like super late at night, and I was like, oh, I was gonna go to bed at 11, but then I get the notification and I'm looking at the time. And the worst thing is when the time is way off. Like sometimes it'll say Viper's stream is going to be at 2:15 a.m. when he starts his stream at like 9. And it's like,
you mean on TV? Like on the TV, on the YouTube app, on RTV? I don't know why it's always off. It's way off.
Like I'll be sitting here.
When you go in it, it'll tell you 60 minutes or half hour or whatever the time is, but on the outside before clicking it'll give you like a weird like 7 a.m. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like I thought it was
sometimes it does that
happening like in an hour. What are you talking about?
The other night I was like, oh, I'll just put it on, right, and I'll just turn the volume way down so it doesn't like blast when the live stream comes on, and I'm just gonna close my eyes and I'll just sleep for a couple hours, and then I'll wake up and I'll watch the live stream and I'll go back to bed, and I'm sitting here and I'm about to fall asleep and all of a sudden it blasts on and I'm like, or it kicks on and I hear I'm talking. I was like, okay, I guess YouTube was off on that, because it said like, and I thought that they always started their live stream. It was some live stream and I can't remember who it was, and I'm like, I always thought it was like 10:15 at night, but when I clicked on it, it didn't show like a countdown, and it said like 1:15 a.m. or something. I'm like, well, I know that's not right, so maybe it's 11 something. Maybe they decided to start a little later this time. So I'll get, like I said, I was going to just take a short nap, and all of a sudden kicks on, and it's like, they need to fix that. But their apps are all inconsistent. Like the fact that you still have all the multiple steps on the mobile app that you have to go through to get to the resolution. And even if you set it to highest, like I hate the fact that like on my iPad, it still defaults to like 1440p, which is close, but I always hit 4K because why not? I know I'm getting the full pixels that are in there, and like the bit rate differences and stuff. And like the same thing on my MacBook, it will default to this weird, at least like on the desktop app, you just click the little thing and you click quality and it's right there. But like the mobile app, they still have the one extra step. But on the TV, you just arrow up over to the 3 button, you hit it as a quality or like thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't like that subscribe and like all that stuff.
It pauses it for me after. Like I can like thumbs it up, right, and then look at the options with the whatever I'm watching still playing. But as soon as I go into the settings for picture quality, it pauses it. I'm like, dude, why are you pausing? Like it's a live stream, like And then when you select it and then go back down, and then sometimes the remote doesn't want to work, so you're like, god damn it, and then you do the thing and you go all the way back and it picks up where you left off, but it's like now I'm behind. So now I'm watching chat of a minute ago or however
I always just skip to the end. I always just drag the thing to the end, and I'm like, if I miss something, they're probably still talking about it, or I can see it in the chat, or I can just go back to that later. But it's funny because like one time
you go back. Do you go back though? So that's the real question. That's the next question. I can just go back, but do you go back?
Sometimes I will, like if I know there's something I missed.
I knew it. Like the part-time playthrough.
Well, sometimes
kind of the same way.
Usually I try to catch from the beginning, but like if there's
or sweep.
one time what was really funny was I meant to just mute it and I accidentally paused it. So then when I came back, I felt bad because I was like, I don't want to like be behind, so I'm just gonna skip to where they are. Then
Yeah, so you don't
like that kind of sucks for the person because now they just like, miss some playback time for like 20 minutes. I really wanted to just mute it because I wasn't interested in the conversation they were having, but I wasn't gonna leave because I still wanted them to. And when the topic changed, I wanted to go back to it. Yeah. I was just gonna go get something to eat, grab something to drink, go to the bath, and come back. And in my brain, I had muted it, but I had actually paused it because I don't know why. Like they're not even in the same spot on the remote. TCL, the Roku remote, where the mute's on the side with the play pauses on the front. It's like there's no way you can mistake that, except for when it's late at night and your brain doesn't always.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're not right there. But does that affect stuff? Like does when someone like pause? Is that anything like obviously with someone clicking off a video or going back to pick something else that gets recorded, right? But is there any difference to where say someone like is paused for too long, or like do pauses get recorded, or does that get worked into Al Gore's rhythm at all? Or just if you click off.
If you skip stuff, obviously that affects like the total view time. So like
okay, yeah,
if I have a 2-hour live stream and you watch through like the first hour, and then you like skip a half an hour and then you watch the last half an hour, I'm only gonna get 90 minutes of that 2 hour and play. And then also in the charts, I can see like where the views drop off. If views are good here, and then there's like a whole section where it's missing, and then they're good again. Like, did the stream like freeze up on people? Did YouTube have an issue? It was fine on my end. Everything was good on my end. Like, if there was a whole middle section of a 2-hour live stream, like let's say a 15, 20-minute section, where like everybody all of a sudden dropped off and like it looked fine on my end, most likely like YouTube servers had an issue and it froze up for everybody and then it went back in, and there'd be ways to know. So that's one thing that I guess is notable. And like I always try to, like, even if I can't watch at the beginning of a live stream, sometimes I'll just go and like play it in my room and then pause it, and then I'll have like it playing on my phone muted, and I'll just watch the chat and like see what they're talking about. What would be really nice is if there was live, like, I imagine there's a way to do it. I know on Pixels you can do, but like live closed captioning would be really nice.
How's your internet over there? I think some people in the chat were saying, and I was wondering because I was having issues earlier when you were talking. It was, I couldn't tell if it was me or you. So
That's weird.
Am I okay to you?
It seems to be fine. Okay. I don't know why it would be popping. I just checked my box here and it's showing. It's actually, hold on, let me turn it down a little bit. It was actually showing me clipping, so maybe that was the problem.
If I was the only one, I want to say it. It's like, oh no, the chat, like, Michael's fine. What are you talking about? Like, get better stuff, Mark, or whatever. So I was like,
audio,
okay, not the only.
Yeah, because I don't. Oh, hold on, let me turn it off. I don't need that. Maybe that's better. Echo cancellation was on, so it might have been.
Close everything that's not essential is usually step one.
Okay, people in the chat.
Everything. Close everything.
If it's fine now, put a Y in the chat. If it's still broken, put an N, please. Let me know. Because that would be good to know. I don't know why it says that it's a problem.
Right now, you're really good.
And it still
as soon as I said it. As soon as I said it. How's mine, guys? Am I okay? Oh, so wait, the audio is clipping or it's intermittent? Tech for your needs. There's a difference there. Clipping is that it's microphone that it's too hot.
Yeah,
either the microphone needs to be turned down, or you need to increase the distance.
It's staying in the range at my end. My microphone's literally right in front of my mouth, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe when I move, it just acts funky.
I just want to clarify with him what he's saying, because if he's saying certain way. Also, did you just get a haircut? You knew that you were gonna ask. It's not just
I
me
shaved
though.
my head like a week and a half ago.
About a week ago. Thanks, Savage. You're
My
okay too,
son,
Savage Scientist.
my son needed a haircut, and my wife trimmed his down, and then I was like, you know what, mine's like, it was getting really long, and so
Oh, yeah.
and itchy, and then because it was so hot out with the fan blowing, I would freak out and wake up in the middle of the night and think something was crawling on me, and it was just like a piece of hair blowing across me. But you know, when you're asleep, how that goes.
Yeah,
So
I got
hopefully
that.
this helps with my audio, like moving it down here, because
Sometimes
now I can't like accidentally lean past it. So that might be, and it could quite even be like cable stress. You know, I moved it around. It could be,
yeah.
you know, there's all sorts of weird things.
Anywhere from you to them could be something. So at any one of those points, potential
I was like
points of failure,
looking
for
in
sure.
my. I have
Don't be like Oscar.
two of my buddies are like, your audio is effing up.
You remember? Did you watch?
I'm like, yeah.
Did you watch O-Rod when he jumped on with Viper for the first time?
Yeah, and it was like
the Owen, and he was like, my microphone was broken. Like, bro, you gotta plug it in first, man. What are you talking about? What do you mean broken?
I was like, I should have good audio. I mean, I have the Scarlett Solo Gen 3, and I have a AKG P120. I mean, it's $300 in audio equipment. It shouldn't be bad. If somebody's like blue Yeti $100 microphone, or like the Elgato Wave, could be fine. This should be like, it wasn't cheap.
Exactly, more than fine. So sometimes
the cheapest thing was my $20 mic stand that I got off from Amazon, because everything else was sold out at the time. Like, literally everything else you could not get for months because of the whole pandemic thing.
And the thing is, where it could be something as simple as a loose connection, or like a bad finally time to like swap out your cables, depending on how long, how old the cable is or what have you. So
always, I connected a brand new USB-C to USB-C cable to the back of the thing, like
yeah, see.
And I'm
so the equipment monitoring
myself. I did turn down a little bit because it did.
So
the way it's set up here is, it goes from like a normal yellow, and then there's like a bright green depending on the range, and then if it goes to like a really bright yellow and to a red, I'm clipping. So I have it in the normal, and let me do something here and see if that helps.
Occasional red is okay if it's, as long as it's like, I mean, I don't like any red at all, but there is a threshold there depending, again, what whatever the use case is in particular. Like basically it's from green, yellow, red, it would be like, always, sometimes, and then it's like the gray area, again, depending on, I mean, if you can be in the red and still have like that good audio, then you have gear that has that higher threshold, then go for it. But usually, I mean, with something like, for example, the Rodecaster Pro, I think has a built-in limiter, or like a compressor, so you kind of are always within at least like a really, really good range. You can get some, you should be able to afford some red, but I try to get like none if possible. And again, a limiter can do that artificially, or after in
what's
processing.
What's really funny on this too is like it has like a noise gate, like minus 20 decibel. I'm like, you'd have to be yelling, you'd have to like really be messed up or like yelling into this thing to have to do that. And then there's also where I can go from flat, and if I switch over this, it takes like the low end off. But I'm like, I don't have any low end in my voice, and I'm not that loud. So like, if I turn both of them on, you just wouldn't be able to hear me.
One thing that it could do too is like, if you like touch like your equipment or like the like rumples and stuff, that sometimes could eliminate vibrations.
That, or I know, like, if I have a fan on right now, but it's one of those like tower fans, which I really like because I can have that blowing like down low, and it's not going to come across the microphone.
All right, The cat
If
almost knocked down
anything,
the
you
cat
might
food.
hear the fans from this loud laptop because I'm using my Razer Blade, which this thing, like,
That's what that is. When are you getting the
it gets.
M1?
I have the M1. I just
Then why
was
aren't we on
using
the
my
M1? Oh my god, Mike.
because it was having issues. I
That's a
was gonna
lie.
use my regular camera, my Sony camera, but every time I try to use that with my Mac, and I've seen other people have this problem. Like I think it was T had problems with his Sony with his M1 Mac Mini, and a couple other people have had problems where like horrible video delay or like it just not working. So
Yeah.
and I was sitting here and I'm like I'm gonna do some updates and I was like oh crap I want to go live. I don't feel like swapping things. I was like and it's
So
fine.
laziness. So
It's
laziness
fine.
then. Come on.
I like this thing. It has a big nice display on it. It's a good laptop. It's powerful. I didn't have to worry about like I have had some issues because even my M1 when live streaming that thing will get quite warm. So and like right now is one of the hottest times of the day, and I'm in the hottest room at this time of the day, because
But do you have an AC in there? I got a
we're
portable one for me, for example. I got a Toshiba one
no
because I'm in like a
so
converted. I kind of took over some of the attic, added stairs, and so I'm here. So I'm like, I
we
can't do it anymore. I gotta go get a portable AC, vent that to the window, and boom,
we live
paradise.
on the east side of the road.
Oh, so
Um,
you get
our
sun,
room is
sun
on
all
the
day.
west end of the house, so evening, the sun, once it's afternoon, at noon the sun's above us, but as it starts getting later and later for like the last 8 hours of the night, and because the sun's out so late right now, like 8 9
Yeah,
hours of the day, the sun's literally at this house, and I have blackout curtains, that are supposed to help, and they have like the white
yeah,
to reflect.
right.
It
I got
doesn't
that too.
matter. It
Yeah,
gets so hot, and then of course the living room's right below, so heat rises up into here, and
yeah.
then our windows are odd size, so it's really difficult to find an air conditioner for this window because they're all 19 and a half inches, and
The the chat the chat's
most
getting
ACs.
crazy, Michael. You're losing them. You're losing the chat. Shout out to Big John Tech Reviews.
I
Oh,
already
in the
covered the
building.
Pixel 5. I already covered the Pixel 5a, Mike.
Cover it
You're
again.
late.
A
No.
different angle.
Anyways, I was talking about
Go the other way now.
I was
Take the
talking
opposite
about the
stance.
overheating issues that people were having, and that people were like blaming the 765G, and I'm like, and people talking about having the problem with their Pixel 5 as well, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I have two devices that have that same processor,
I think that
and
only
neither
happens
of
to
them
people
had an
in like
issue.
right.
LG, the Wing, and the Velvet, I didn't have an issue with either one of them.
Yeah,
So, I'm pretty sure it's the um, I can almost guarantee it's probably their computational stuff. Their AI is because that processor is plenty powerful. As far as the CPU, like that's right up there along right all in the line with like the 865. But like the graphics part of it is about I would say from what I could tell, um, it's like between the 845 and the 855. So it's plenty powerful, but with all the onboard AI and computational photography that Google's doing, they're probably like it'd be like running that thing. It'd be like I have a pretty powerful laptop, but I'm trying to play a game that is going to run like the CPU and GPU at like 95% each, and like I'm also editing a video in the background that's maxing out my RAM. Like the thing's
yeah.
gonna get hot, and
I
eventually
should
it's
have.
probably gonna give a warning, and then things might start shutting down. And like, if you're trying to run a camera, which creates a lot of heat,
Yeah,
just
I should have.
not
I should have warned you
not
before,
good.
and also or maybe you should already know because you're kind of a friend, right? Is that we use the F word here? That friend word that that I'm more Apple than Android, and even still, I'm a tech guy as far as like, oh, tech's dope, and then you know what I mean? Like, oh, so what about this the sexiness or whatever the hell? I'm like, I don't know. What about it? You tell
It's
me.
not
I'll
even. I was
listen.
gonna say it's
I'll
using a
listen. I don't know.
Snapdragon, so it's not
See,
even like so. Like
so
Samsung's
that whole
Exynos
thing
did
that you
have
just
issues in the past, but like
no
as
idea
far
what
as
you're
I
talking about.
know, um, like today, um, like most of the newer, I think it's the Exynos 2100 and is pretty well on par with, I wouldn't say like the 888, which I think is probably a good thing, but like I think it's right up there along with like the 865 and that as far as like processing power and better with battery efficiency. But in the past, it wasn't, it was like they were behind in power but then awful battery life. So that's why people outside the US always complained that they were stuck with the Exynos processors in their devices, except for certain ones. So like when the original Fold came out and like the original Z Flip, those all used Snapdragon. So like people were buying those just because it was like the only Samsung device they could get in their region that didn't use Exynos without going to like some of the A series. So they're like, I want a flagship level device, but I can't. And it's like they couldn't even export it. So
was the issue what you're saying is that you don't believe the stories that people's Pixels 5a are overheating, or that?
no, I do. Like I entirely have seen it, and like the controversy is like if you're not talking about it and you're seeing it, like say something. I don't like.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say something just because like you're worried like this is your first year you're on Team Pixel or something and you're worried like next year they're not going to.
Oh, yeah.
Because
actual,
like
what is that
I almost
about?
Feel
too?
like I almost feel like if like if everybody else is saying it and you're worried so you're not, then like
is it the
at
point
the same time being concerned. Yeah, but at the same time, like you're concerned, then people could be like, "But everybody else is saying it is, and you're not. So, like, are you lying to us now? Like, who are you? Like,
yeah,
like that would be like it's not a win-win. Like, to make it look better, there's no win in there. Like, there's never like don't. And people can't like. That whole thing I talked about, like people canceling their Fold orders. I'm like, I told people, I'm like, great, more space for me to do long-term content. Like, you all can cancel. I'll be like the one person that owns this thing, and I'll just keep doing videos on it. And
I think I tweeted the you can't cancel an order if you never placed one. So
yeah, that's the other thing. Like, and every year, and I won't say specific channel names because you know what, if that's your thing, whatever, and it gets you clicks, good for you. But like. Every year there are certain channels that I can guarantee the cycle will be like I'm switching to the iPhone like in September. You will see that, right?
The people that go back and forth regularly,
and then you'll see like you'll always see like, oh, I'm switching to the S20. Like next we'll see people like I'm switching to the S22. Like that's
you see that some people can't cancel their stuff. People are having it like because they switched to the next step in like the getting the phone to you process, that the cancel button's gone. I forget for which phone it is. Again, I hardly pay attention to those, but they're like, dude, I can't, like, where's the button? I don't see the button. Like, oh, it moved on to the next step. So
and yeah, Tech Love and Mama, who's getting her first folding device, and she's happy because she got approved for Samsung financing. And I saw on Twitter, and she'll correct me if I'm wrong, something about her parents talking about getting the folds as well because they heard her talking about it. The thing is that's also exciting is that almost all the carriers have like the monthly payment plans.
Yeah. Which are
having deals. And yeah, like if you're on T-Mobile, it's a little bit rough because like they'll only let you I mean, it changes if you've been with them long enough, but for the most part, they'll only hold like 700 of it, so you gotta like put down the remaining, and then they'll finance the. So at that point, you're still putting down like the whole cost of an S21 Ultra brand new. But if you trade in things, then you might have to put down like $400, and then you're still you're financing the rest. For me, like I promised myself that I won't finance anything anymore if I don't have to, just because like. If something happens and like let's say we move and service is no longer any good, I'm stuck with them or have to still come up with all the money to pay it off.
like for so because I'm with Sprint, or at least I mean I kind of still am, but the whatever the the takeover with Sprint being purchased by or they acquired T-Mobile acquired them, they reduced the amount that they're willing to hold for financing purposes. So for example, right now I'm talking to you on the last year's iPad 12.9. So that one, I think it was this 1 terabyte configuration, maybe was like 15 or 1600 with taxes and all that. I don't know if I forget what I'm paying now, maybe like $30 or $40 a month. I think I put maybe like 500 or 600 down, right? This time around, because I returned it, but I did have oh, I see what you're sipping on. I know what that is. That's the yeah Seagrams. Nice, man. I didn't know you were talking
I
about that earlier. I thought you were talking about like a regular, ginger ale or something.
no,
But hold on, before I
I
forget,
I
the
was gonna
the
say
one
I didn't drink
terabyte.
for the longest time, and this is something I can be fine with, and it doesn't make me feel messed up.
Yeah, I get
Uncomfortable.
it.
So I was
I
like,
yeah, yeah.
it's good,
None of the negative stuff.
It's a hot day, so I'll
It's it's a
enjoy
gateway
some
for sure.
watermelon, lemon,
Be careful.
strawberry,
We
guava
might have
stuff.
we might have to get Tech 702 up here. He's like a veteran. He basically eats, sleeps, and drinks drinking. But the 12.9 for this year, the M1, right? That and I went the same. I went the 1 terabyte. Well, I have a 1 terabyte now. Like obviously, that's like I went I went maximum because I'm like I don't want to run into storage issues like I do with all my Apple devices. But also I was like, hey, like 8 gigs, 16 gigs, whatever, right? So the $2,000 package, because with cellular, um, again, last year's I put maybe 500 or 600 down, right, for the same thing for a 1 terabyte cellular. This year, T-Mobile's like, okay, that'll be 1,400 down, like 1,474.99. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
because it's
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
almost $2,100,
more
and they'll
than
only
more
cover
than double,
700 of it.
almost triple of what this exact iteration previously cost me. Why? Like for what? Oh, T-Mobile, like we, the risk management, blah blah blah. It's like tripping. So like, yeah, so like, but the payment's lower, right? So they'll promote that, like, oh, it's 29 or 30 something dollars instead of the 40, almost $50 from last year's. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm basically buying the entire thing and just giving you $10 a month for a year or whatever, right? So you almost have to purchase the entire thing.
So funny story with that. Um, so the the 11-inch 2018. It's 2018.
Oh, also before I forget, you
Yeah.
mentioned Tech Love and Mama said that's your first folding phone, like folding device, or first fold, because I'm pretty sure you had a flip phone, like most people did, right? Flippy
She's
floppy.
talking about first fold.
Okay.
And her parents are doing try for 21 days and then 3 payments afterwards. I applied for all that stuff, and I don't have my credit's not good enough, and like I still owe on some things, so I'll never get approved for that. But
when I'm looking this way, I'm looking at the actual. I got my 2012 MacBook Pro 15-inch over here with the stream, like as if I was watching it on. Well, I am, on YouTube, so that's where I'm able to see, because I don't like having it over here, because if I go to the chat, I think it goes right on top of us, like you, right? So I wouldn't be able to see you too well, and I don't know if like what's quick. Well, because we're obviously this would be like real time, right? And then over here, I see that there's that lag, and then I wonder that loop of how much laggier, right?
there's,
I want to at least reply to when they are seeing us.
It depends on how much StreamYard likes you that night, I guess, and like how much YouTube is liking you, and if I guess if you piss them off or not, because it can vary. I've actually had times where StreamYard has been behind YouTube, and then I've had times where it's been like as much as like a 30 to 45 second delay between the two. I've had other times where like they're almost on par with each other. I think it just depends on how many people are streaming and like the servers and what's going on at my end and weird things like that. But I don't know, like, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so we've been on T-Mobile for a while. It's been a couple of years now, and but I went to get the 11-inch iPad Pro cellular on there, and then had an issue, and so ended up going into the store to get it. And that went through fine. But then I went in to get what was the deal? Oh, I traded in a OnePlus 8 for the Note 20 Ultra, and they're like, we can't even do the because it's monthly credits. You'd have to pay off whatever because you don't even have enough left on your account, so we can't even do this. I'm like, so what's the point? Like, what's the point in offering trade-in credit value if you can't even cover it? So I ended up on the phone with T-Mobile customer service, and they ended up. Basically, what happened was somehow they had put 2 iPads, as though like 2 iPads worth were holding on because the original one that I had tried to purchase online hadn't gone through, but they were still like holding that over. So they wiped that off, but then at the same time, they just wiped everything clean so that I could have more on my account. So when I was in there, I'm like, shoot, I'm taking advantage of this. So like, I'll just put the whole thing on there.
I think the chat said that you're getting some more. They can hear more noise. I don't know if you can clean that up a little more.
I don't know what they're hearing because my laptop fan's actually not running anymore. At least
I hear like just a general hum. I can hear like just the room you're in. You know what I mean? Maybe room noise.
Yeah, must be the room. I turned down my gain on my mic, so I don't know. Let me see something here. Let me see what happens if I. Can you still hear me?
Let's see. Let's check the chat.
Am I still good?
I can hear you, but I also hear like a fan in the distance or something. You know what I mean? Or like a hum.
I'm trying to see if I turn down the.
Well, you have other stuff in the room that you're in making noise, right?
Yeah, so you're gonna hear it bounce off the walls and stuff. I can't really do much about that, but I got a blanket behind me that's.
I can tolerate it, but
it is what it is for now until I can.
That's true. It is what it is.
Yeah. Marcus needs to share me all of his Shure stuff, and I'll be good. Yeah, no.
Share the shore. Hashtag share the shore. That's a good idea. Tech702. Hey, Tech702, why don't you hop on
Hopefully
if Pepper's okay with it?
Hopefully, I'm hoping we'll be moving before too long. StreamYard likes to mess with audio too, so I turned off all the audio processing, audio volume stuff. At least as far as I know. Let me double check.
What?
Because they like to mess with. Yeah,
the next logical question
all
is
turned off, all that. So.
Who's your internet? Who are you on right now?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is that better?
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me say something else.
Hold on.
You're using voice isolation or something now?
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, that is crispy. What did you do?
Somehow, StreamYard decided to mess with my settings and changed my audio so it was using the webcam audio this whole mother time.
The whole
Instead
thing
of my actual. No wonder you can hear the room now.
It's not even plugged in.
And I would get louder and quieter because, like, if I move towards my camera, you're going to be
Michael Pepper Tech Chat. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's messed up.
You know what? You know what I feel bad about though for you, like on top of this, more for you is that you were legit trying stuff and troubleshooting earlier this whole time that you were just on the wrong microphone. Period. I was like, oh no.
So something got interfered with at some point, and like they changed my audio.
Probably Tech702.
Like in the thing, just change it because I had literally gone through all this before I went live, and like you can see where when I talk, it picks up and it has like
just
my focus rate set, and I can test to make sure like and now StreamYard has the lovely like
this fancy like singing lady that does the audio test for like your
How about we
headphones,
give you
which
one of
is
these for figuring it out?
so
Shout out to Crispy Audio.
it's
Always.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
you shouldn't be picking up much room noise because this thing like I mean unless I have a fan blowing right on it, you shouldn't be picking up a lot of noise. I don't have the gain turned way up,
No,
like I
it's just,
said, and
this is just you now. I hear you and like a recording studio. This is perfect. It's
that's
awesome.
weird. I was like, what the heck? So now everybody at the beginning is gonna be really confused when it like
That's okay.
goes
That
from,
happens. You
and
know
all
what?
of a
This should have
sudden
been
it's like
here for the live, the replay people. But also,
it's
this wasn't
weird.
planned, so maybe that threw him off. So
I wish I could
let's
just
not get
like
up in
have
arms, everyone.
access to StreamYard's code and just go in and just be like, no, you can't change my settings on me. Don't mess with anything partway through. Just leave it alone. Like
Yeah, that's weird, man. That's weird that it did that.
this is why I wish OBS um worked better because I've done through OBS, but then you get the whole complication of like making custom layouts for when you have a guest. So you got to have like one layout for when you have a second person. If you add a third person, a fourth person, like as you invite people in, you have to have different scenes and then have it so like their feed you grab and bring in, and it gets really complicated. Um,
Different scenes. What do you
like
mean?
so like
Like
you know
presets?
how in StreamYard I just quite literally click and it pops you up, and then I can have
Yeah.
like this layout or this
Right.
layout or like this sort of
Mhm.
thing.
Okay.
They have you have to create like a scene for like if I'm solo, and then I'd have to create like a layout that splits so that and then selects like um, whatever video chat service I would be using to share the link to bring you in, like Zoom or whatever. And then I would have to like bring that source in, and then if another person comes in, I'd have to have like a scene for 3 people, 4 people. Like you have to have all these different scenes because you can't just easily. Now like on my MacBook, I like Ecamm. Ecamm Live is really nice because it it's all like device side, which is really nice because you don't have to worry about like the server having issues. But at the same time, like if you have internet, if you have like that's reliant on having a pretty powerful device, but it runs perfectly fine on my own MacBook. And like for doing guests, it's very similar to this. You just invite them as a guest and you just click on them
Yeah.
as like a source. It essentially like brings them in as though they're like another camera and you're doing multicam, because you can do multicam with that too, which is really cool. Like I can have
Yeah,
like my
for sure.
built-in webcam, my iPhone as a webcam, iPad as a camera. Like I
Oh,
have
like
multiple and just like move
the
around
Zed
like
man himself,
like
Zach
like
talks. Yeah,
Zach
yeah,
does. And
yeah.
so it's just
Camera
funny
1,
that
camera
everything's
2,
like
camera 3. Back to camera
so
1.
I knew something this way messed up when my audio was not good, because it's never like with this it shouldn't be that. You shouldn't hear room noise.
Audio
You shouldn't
first, man.
hear like
Audio's king.
and of course I'm looking at all my equipment and it's fine. I'm like, you know what, the one thing I haven't done is
Just
gone
not
into
using it.
StreamYard's software source
You just weren't using any of it, man.
and been like,
Oh
is
man,
this okay or is this mess?
I think you just became Oscar's best friend. He's gonna love this part. He's gonna be like, yes, another one, not just me.
I mean, it happens when I haven't
You know,
streamed consistently in a little while, but
I got the scoop. I don't know if I don't think he's watching. Let me see. I can check if he's in here. Let's see if he's no, he's not in here. He's supposed to. He was planning on going live 20 minutes ago. I don't even think he's home. He's like, yeah, I'm running a little late. I'm not even home, dude. I'm like, wow, okay, cool.
So what's the what are the little figurines that they would be over your left shoulder back there
This
on like
one,
the
Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, and then Morty from Rick and Morty. These are actually they're like knit. So Stephanie, the baby mama, she was like, yeah, I got these as like a gift, and I know that you would like them. They're too creepy for me. Do you want them? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want them. Whoa, sorry. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
You're fine. It's good. It's fine.
But they're. I mean, should I bring them here?
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. So,
It's like,
so they're like the it's like the screen material, like
yeah,
sort of
Kind
thing.
of.
Interesting.
I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Like, I guess this is where they tied it. So you see the little. Can I get closer?
What's the now I'm getting all distracted because what's the thing with all the lights around it on the wall behind you? Is that a computer?
No, it's just a mirror.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm seeing something like I just caught a glance, and from here it almost looks like a custom water cooled PC. Like, cause I just see like these tubes and stuff. Oh, okay, it's a mirror and it's reflecting something.
So that's my big screen that's right behind. So in between the laptop that you're watching me through, the iPad I mean, is in between myself and my 75 inch. So I have
Oh,
it
okay.
just for additional light. And then I
Okay.
got the laptop, the other laptop over here. So
So you got the Switch over your other shoulder and
and that's a
um
what do they call it?
some
A buffalo horn or something? I forgot what it is.
and then some
You can drink from that. That's a cup. That's a horn, hollowed out horn. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
Viking status.
and then a pair of those like bluish green and
Unofficial,
orange headphones.
unofficial Gadgetcast podcast. Yeah, the Gadgetcast purple. Even though it's blue, they say it's blue, but I'm like that's purple. Yeah,
Mhm.
the Soundcore, not a sponsor. Q10s. I forget what.
I
So
think those are the 10s or the 20s. I can't
yeah,
remember at the time.
only one ear cup works sometimes. I think I just got them, so I'm pretty sure I'm within the warranty. And I'm like, I don't know, like I'll just have one, like the right ear cup will work, and I have to like wiggle them, and then it cuts in and out on the left ear cup. I don't know if it's a lemon or if that's what they're pushing, but Soundcore.
That's weird.
So is that
So
Glove and Mama crochet? Is that crochet? Is that I'm not familiar with it. So, but yeah,
it looks like it could be, but
crochet.
I'm using my AKG headphones that I got, I think, for free when I got the Note 8 back in the day. I want to say that that's what these are. The old school like ANC, like whatever they were that they gave away for free at the time, and they had the switch on them,
They look
and
pretty
you
good.
have to and they have to be charged up even when you're using them wired if you want ANC to work, and it's weird, but yeah.
Are they so they're on ear, right? They look like they're too small to be over ear or around ear. They
So
don't. That doesn't bother you?
not too much because I have glasses, and
Okay.
then also I feel like I don't sweat as much as if they were like completely around my ears. But at the same time, I
Go
wish
off.
they were
I'm
around
over
the
here
ear because like
like this, even with the AC on. You know why? Because I don't want it to be too loud, so I have it like at half power. So I'm over here still with my
I
leather
do
ear cuffs.
wish
These
though
are my
that they
DJI
were
head.
over ear because I feel like on ear still puts like it's pressure on my ear. I have big
Yeah,
ears,
I
so
like
I
the
have to
around.
have like massive ear cups. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they're all on ear for me.
yeah.
Like
I also love massive ones.
and like the oval shaped ones that they have are tiny baby ears.
Put a comment up.
That's great.
Oh, I got to do more practice. My experience is 100% as a guest. I don't know. And it's always been with StreamYard, but I mean, my only controls are for my microphone, for my camera, to change a microphone or camera. And then again,
Yeah.
pulling up
So
the chat, which covers up my view of you. So
yeah,
I don't,
she's talking about this because it's the same issue with wireless earbuds because a lot of them it's like they don't stay in your ears because even the
yeah,
smallest ones are like too big. So then they just push out of your ears, or like the ones that
eventually.
are
Yeah.
like, supposed to be
Yeah.
like one size fits all.
Yeah.
Then they don't go far enough in your ear, or they like sit out, and there's no way for them to hold in, and they're just awkward. Um, I don't know. I had a pair of, I think they were Bob Marley. So there's the website which now it's all like rebranded other brand headphones. If you go on there, they'll be like psychedelic colored, and like they use some wood and different things like
Gotcha.
that. And I remember it's probably got to be at least 10, maybe at least 10 years ago now that I had gotten a pair of really nice over-the-ear headphones. They were ANC, Bluetooth, could be used wired as well. And they
What?
had both
But
active and passive headphones.
oh, headphone. Wow. Okay, that's cool. Oh, damn.
And at the time, I bought them and I returned them because I thought they were expensive. And now I'm like, I should have kept those things because they were only like $350. And knowing now, like, that you have things like the AirPods Max and like some of the Bose and some of the Sonys that are like 250, 350,
Yeah.
like, for these things
Yeah, the
being made out
700.
of real wood and like metal, and like I could be outside using a Pushmore and couldn't hear anything. Like, that's how good the active noise cancellation was.
Oh, nice. Good.
And then it had like true passive, which meant like if you had them plugged in wired, you could use the active noise cancellation, and the battery on that was like 45 hours of battery life or something, with like 45, 50
Wow.
hours
That's a
if
lot,
you
man.
were wired, because it was just powering the little microphone and little speaker that basically put out the what do they call
Yeah.
that? Like the counter pulse or whatever, like the sine wave to the cosine wave of so they block each other.
Right. Yeah, the anti noise. Yeah. There, give me a
And
moment. I'm gonna turn the thing off. I don't know if you want to pop me back in. I gotta feed the monster over there. She's
okay,
gonna knock down her food, make a mess.
that's fine.
Just
You're good to go. So yeah, I don't know, those headphones, I can't find them anywhere anymore. Everything's all off-brand, or it's just like knockoff of other brand stuff that they've added like $150 to. Let's see, Bob Marley headphones. House of Marley. Let's see, House of Marley headphones. Share screen window here. So yeah, back in the day, the House of Marley brand actually had like their own headphones that they did, and now they have some earbuds, but these are all like, if you look at these, I want to say they're probably like Soundcore and other brands that they just license and then charge a percentage or an extra on top. Like these Exodus ones, I want to say some of them, they're like AKG, Soundcore. I'm not sure like what brands they're working with. But they used to have all wood ear cup, really, really nice headphones that looked kind of like these design, like no plastic, all solid, nice metal, but lightweight, really, really, really cushy ear cups. And they were their own series, but I think it's just because other companies have made these things for so cheap now that they can't compete, like, so they just license or like buy from these other companies and just place it on top.
The same design, like the exact same earbuds and headphones with a different name.
Like if you looked at some of those, like you can definitely tell that the design looks the same as like some of the other ones, like the ones that looks like the Soundcore Liberty Air 2s.
Right? Don't they normally do that? Like the actual, sometimes manufacturers, not the one that like is the brand of them. Yeah. That happens a lot.
you go on Amazon, and there'll be like 45 different brands that are all basically just the same, like one Chinese branded one that all the companies just pay and put their names on. But then you have like,
Yeah.
you know, Soundcore is owned by Anchor, so they do their own thing. But like back in the day, they were doing their own thing. They had their own R&D, like their own labs where they were making everything. Their own like the ones that I was pointing out there, like the way that their wiring was done was a little bit different. It was kind of almost more like Pilot's headphones, where they have like the wiring, and they'll have like the wiring that curves in like this, and then there's like notches on each side of the ear cup, and it slides into it, and it's like springed,
Mm-hmm.
like because it's supposed to help. Because obviously on a plane, there's a lot of vibrations, and that can that can like vibrate through you. It
Yeah.
can actually go through the pilot's body, through like their bones, up into their skull, and like through the headband and into their ears, and can like cause deafness because you're talking about high vibrations, which create like a bass.
Yeah.
So they have the springs in there are to prevent that and like keep those vibrations from causing, because you don't have a solid piece of metal, you have kind of two like forks. And there's some other companies that are doing similar design, but yeah, back in the day, I remember they were doing all sorts of awesome stuff. And like thinking now, like, wow, that's actually kind of cheap for like all the technology that they threw in there. The battery life you got. There were companies that were doing things like you could pop open the earpieces and replace the like pop out batteries. They basically had like modular battery that went in the ear cups and stuff. I was like, where did all that go? Like, I want to see a company do that. Like, the moto mods of headphones would be awesome. Like, to just see a company that does something like that. Of course, I don't know. I can just see Apple doing like AirPods Max, with like a spot that's got different colored pieces that go on the outside, but you can pop those off, and then underneath you can like slap a MagSafe battery on the thing to give it more battery life, and you can put like just put it on one side, or put like one on each side and replace those. Like, I could totally see, like, if Johnny Ives was still involved, like, I could totally see something like that going on. I don't know. In my opinion, yes, Tim Cook has taken Apple like a pretty good way, but at the same time, I feel like there were things that Steve Jobs like never would have allowed. Johnny Ives never would have allowed. Like, some of the design choices, things were much more progressive, and now I mean, if you just think about it, like the iPhone 4, the 4S, and the 5 looked very similar. And then
Yeah.
the 6 came out, and then you had like the 7 and the 8. So it was like every 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But now we've been sitting on the iPhone 10 design. We have the 10, and then you had like the 10R, the 10S series, the 11, the 12. We're going on like the 5th year where the design, for the most part, is going to be very much the same, other than like flat edges on the 12, but like the front is pretty much the same. Yeah, the camera modules on the back has changed a bit, but back, that was one of the back things back in the day that Jobs was huge about, like updated design to keep up with the times, and like he liked change, but not just change for the sake of doing it, but like there is functionality in it. I mean, if you look at all phones like pre-iPhone 10, every camera was horizontal. Like LG, Samsung, like their S line, their Note line, everything was all horizontal. But then Apple comes out with their iPhone, and even like the iPhone 8s, the 8 in their like the Plus series, all that had 2 cameras are all horizontal. But then when they came out with their 10, they went vertical.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that was they realized that in order to tune them in the factory so that they could have it so when you switched between cameras,
Yeah.
it was like zooming in with a normal lens. it was better to have them stacked because they could slightly angle them so that it was like having one lens. So when you switch, you wouldn't notice
It's
as much.
seamless. Yeah, yeah. I always thought that was a little trippy that they
And the
did that.
reason when they went to 3, it's a triangle, is the same idea that those are
Angled
actually
towards each other a
slightly
bit.
tipped just
Oh, that's cool.
enough so that it lines up to help when you switch. You don't have that. And it's easier for the software too, like when you slide through, because obviously it's switching lenses. So color accuracy is important in there, but the physical aspect of it is nice. Because even like, so, this, right? They put the 2 main sensors and then there's that tiny, like, 2 megapixel
Yeah.
black and white sensor or whatever they put on there. To have those stacked the way they are, it's because they're not really used together. You'll notice that, like, yeah, they let you switch in video, they let you zoom in and out and stuff, but you'll notice that some of the companies that don't let you really take advantage of it, it's because the physicality. These things have 3-4 lenses on it, and from the top to the bottom one is like an inch and change, and so they have to angle them, and then by angling them, there's actually more time that goes in. Like, people don't realize quite literally when the parts for an iPhone go along this assembly line, there are lasers that are used to measure the sizes of each of the pieces down to like micron level, like in the precision of the discrepancy, so that when they place like the front to the back and the sides, that those are as close to fitting together like a glove as possible.
Yeah.
And not not much gap in there. And then the same thing with like the camera modules in there fitting through like the back glass and stuff. And there's importance to that because water resistance only holds up over time if if that can stay close, and there you're not worried about like one side is slightly closer than the other, so they're pulling against each other, and then making gaskets, because you can make all the gaskets pretty much the same size if they're all going to be within the tolerance. That's the word I was trying to think of. If they're all within that same tolerance, you can make pretty much all your gaskets the same, and it just plops in. And then repair is way easier. And I mean, that also goes to why devices have gotten more expensive, and why when you look at companies like OnePlus that were making inexpensive devices back in the day, and the reason their cost has gone up really is not necessarily their fault as much as like quality control's gotten better, so it's more difficult for them to say to like Samsung, we want your crappiest selection at a discount. Like back in the day, they used to take where like maybe there was a quality control issue for like 1 in 1,000, where Samsung was only okay with like 1 in 100,000, and maybe Apple was like, we only are okay with like 1 in 1,000,000 because we're gonna sell 300 million of these things, so we want to make sure that like
quality
nobody pretty much has an issue, and so we'll pay more for that. And OnePlus is like, we'll just sift through and we'll figure it out, and we'll assemble everything, and they save money.
Yeah,
but
if someone does get a bad one, then that's taking away time from their employees, their stores doing other things, rather than, hey, give me a new one of these, like here's a XYZ problem or whatever. Like, and then now you have, maybe it's, I don't know if is that better or worse for something like the pandemic, because they've been opening and closing and having like just pick up only or this or that. So maybe they've streamlined it now, but before I'm sure that you would rather have, say geniuses helping people like first time iPhone buyers, or people switching to the iPhone for the first time, having them do that rather than having to send stuff back and get parts, and because now you have to keep parts on hand, or you have to send stuff out, and then that person is like telling everyone they know, oh well, my iPhone, I just bought it and it's cost $1,000, and now I don't even have it. They have to keep it overnight or a couple days, and so they want to reduce.
You always want in person because
mitigate that.
If you walk into an Apple store and you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick up an iPhone, let's say it comes this September, let's say you can walk into an Apple store or like a Carrier or whatever, if it's available in person and you're going to go, I'm going to pick this up, you can just say, well, I know that they're also going to have cases, so I'll just look at cases while I'm there. Or if you have to order online and like wait for the thing to ship to you, like pretty much every other device, you have to, unless you go to your carrier. Like, for example, with this pre-order from Samsung, if I didn't get the credits from Samsung, if I was shelling out of pocket, I can just go and look on Amazon and like, online elsewhere and really look all over the place and then be like, what's the cheapest deal for the type of case that I want, and go with them. Where like, if it's in person and you're going to get it right away, then you're going to need your case right away. So you go to the Apple store and they have all these cases you can pick from. Or also because, well, they're also because they're super popular. You have Walmart and other places that sell cases as well. But just the fact that you can get stuff in person is a huge advantage. And the fact that you can go and look at it and be like, oh, that's not what I thought it looked like. I don't want that color.
Yeah,
or
because
like
then there's more.
or you can pre-order, like you can order for pickup on Apple's site, so you get there and then you get there and
That
you
I
can
like.
just and you get there and you can be like, oh, never mind, I want a different color, and they will swap it out.
Yeah, right
And
then
that
and
puts
there.
you in their queue and in their line, and you get there and everything's ready to. Or if if you know for sure that's what you wanted because you've already seen it, you've already been in the Apple store, or you just know from videos or whatever, you've made up your mind, or you just really don't care. Like you just randomly picked a color case because you really, really don't care because the thing's going to be in your pocket most of the time.
Yeah, I think
Um,
if you've noticed, like even man, a little bit further, like the pre-ordering was the business when everyone was going to the stores to wait for these things, and now that's done like a complete 180. Everyone's pre-ordering, right? It's like, hey, why would I? One less thing that I have to get, especially since with or without taking into consideration the last 2 years of everyone kind of seeing like how can I streamline my day in day out, week in week out, and just have either stuff ready to be picked up for me or delivered, even better. And tech and devices have gone right up there with like, well, I'll just order it and like, or I'll just pre-order it and have it sent to me, and whenever it comes, it comes. And then you're in now. That same thing of everyone waiting outside of the store is now doing that, but online, right? Everyone is doing, and then you get like, yeah, like every Apple store. I mean, for example, like me, I like Apple, but every Apple store near me had like the iPad, every size, every color. Well, yeah, two sizes, two colors, right, of the M1, and then every configuration, basically every color of the 7 colors for the 24-inch M1 iMac, that in stock, on hand, ready. It's people had to
everybody
wait
did their
so
pre-orders.
long. Yeah, man.
And then you have people that were like waiting for their iPads to. And I remember because
I'm stuck with the White Magic
I went.
keyboard because of that. Because the White Magic keyboard's like, hey, it's in stock, it's on its way, and then the M1 shows up a month and a half later, and then I returned it for reasons, and then it's like I'm stuck with. Now I have 2 Magic keyboards, one of each color, which is, I guess, is it's an accessory, so I could just change it when I'm like, I want to use the black one today, or today the white one, or whatever. So, but I'm stuck with it because it shipped first, not when I don't know if that's you don't think they would ever give us the option, right? Like, oh, like hang on to my entire order, ship my entire order at the same time, so that I have the same return window on all of my entire order, all of the accessories or what have you. That would have been nice, but now I'm stuck with it, and it's not cheap. $350 for essentially just a nicer, cooler color. I think they
When
made
you
the
go
magnet.
from the white one to the other one, does Carlos Santana play?
Yeah, it does. How'd you know?
Black Magic keyboard.
Oh man,
like
this
instead of
guy.
Black Magic.
There he is. I was wondering when you were gonna show up. This is the Michael Pepper I know. And also, we're real quick. We've had
Oh, what I was gonna say too about like
we've had one question in the chat. I already answered it while you were blabbering. So,
did we?
in the best way, like the Michael Pepper kind of blabbering, not the other kind. But But I sent a link in. I don't know if you're curious. It's actually the ones I'm wearing now. It's quite. I don't know if you want to find it and put it on the screen. You don't have to. It's your stream, but it's essentially the ones where I was like, oh, like that's right. I do have like I forgot I'm a DJ, and I'm like, where are my DJ headphones? And I can be using I might as well. Like I'm not DJing right now, but like it's like they're the best, nicest headphones that I own, and I dropped the link in or the hypertext or hyperlink, whatever they call them. I think you have to copy paste. I don't think you can do it, but that's the one. Those are the ones I have.
If you put it in the private chat in StreamYard, then I can post it in. Otherwise, it won't.
Oh, okay. Well,
YouTube by default doesn't put links into the chat unless you're a mod.
Well, YouTube
and then
by
sometimes
default,
it doesn't do it.
But that's just what I think. So,
but what was I? So everybody's complaining about getting their iPads and having to wait and stuff. Yeah. And I went the Friday that they were available and went right over to Best Buy and picked up went right over and picked up the 11-inch.
Same day, right?
And then went to like the app, and then I went into the Apple store, Saturday or Sunday, and got the Logitech keyboard case for it, the Combo Touch, because it wasn't available yet. It wasn't available till like 2 days later. So I picked that, and everybody else still waiting for their pre-ordered iPads. I'm like that they ordered like weeks before, and I'm like, It's one of those instances that's like, if it's not arriving the same day as you can pick it up in store, then I don't get the point in or earlier, I don't get the point in pre-order. I saw somebody on Twitter said that FedEx had already picked up and was going to be delivering their Samsung order Friday, so I'll have to keep an eye out on that. Because also when I talked with them, they did say something about potentially I could get my Fold like in the next. Because I talked to them yesterday morning. It was, and they're like, "Oh, it could go out in the next 3 days, and then it's got 2-day shipping on it." But where you're located, that could be like 1 day. Something I could actually have it by like the end of the week, but then it's weekday stuff. So end of the week, beginning of next week, depending on how they. But that means they've quite literally have been sitting there with the thing ready.
Yeah, that's what people are.
And they're just waiting. I guess they're just waiting for everybody's orders to be ready, so that way, like, somebody's not like. But that should be how it is. Like, I got there first, so I should get it earlier. Yeah. It shouldn't be like everybody can wait until the last minute to order and have it still get there by the 27th. Yeah, some people, like mine says it should be by, like, according to FedEx, which shows it before before Samsung's site even says anything about shipping, or I got an email. I have a thing in my FedEx that says shipping out on the 23rd, arriving by the 25th from Samsung.
Oh, you know what? Sometimes for Apple stuff, Apple will tell me a certain date, and then inside UPS will be like, "No, it's coming sooner. It's coming this day." And I'm just like, these guys, they're doing the under promise, over deliver thing, right? Where they buy themselves weeks, if not months, just to be like, hey, it could take this long. Please be patient. All the while they're like, they know you're going to get it next week or like 3 to 5 days sooner. And you're just like, oh my God, Apple's amazing. And it's like, well, UPS is, because they're the ones, if you have the app and you have that, if you have it set up that way, then you can say like, yeah, dude, it's going to be here tomorrow. Like don't trip.
Well,
and then also we have Miles in the chat.
Pre-ordering.
Shout out to Miles and Stephanie, the famous one. Don't tell her the things I said earlier. That's just for the internet and Michael Pepper and the chat. So don't tell her. Don't go back
Stephanie,
to the
how
replay.
Are you?
That's not fair.
And welcome.
There she is. Oh.
If you speak German, willkommen. If you speak, they just go through languages.
It goes again.
That I know how to say one word in.
I was just gonna. You beat me to it. I was gonna say I think that's the only thing he knows how to say. That and maybe like cuss words or beer. Another drink, please. Restroom. And food.
Spanish, I'm somewhat mostly still fluent in, but I did try to learn some French and some other languages, but that is a good question. Tech Love and Gauntlet goes, why am I not a mod?
Yeah, why am I not a mod? You know what? Thank you for bringing it up.
I haven't gone through my mod list in like a year, so I can actually do that right now.
Let's play a game also, because her next question. Did you see her next question? She wants to know how long the Michael Pepper Tech has known
How long have we
the
known each
DJ,
other?
Mark Sequence, lifeguard DJ extraordinaire.
About
All around
an
good
hour. No, just kidding. I just got a random strange
guy.
message from this guy, and I was like, his name sounds awesome. It's also like one of my favorite
Oh, come
games to
on.
play is Sequence, so I'll just let him on.
Is that a game? You know what I've gotten before? Like the girl, it's spelled differently. It's Sequins with an S, like UINS. And I didn't know what it was for the longest time. I was like, why would you name yourself that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, because I'm thinking, oh, my name's cool. It's a part of a beat making program, beat making software, a step sequencer to where you have, and it lights up in increments of 4, 8, right, 16. The steps, so you have like right, you can put any like other noises and it repeats the pattern. That's a step sequencer. So I'm thinking all this, cool stuff. And then they're like, no, that's like that, like glitter, bedazzled. What was it? Like the fake, I can't even think of what it is. It's like that stuff that's like sewn together, like reflects, slide, and moves. Like when you move, it's like that loose stuff that's like stitched onto clothes. Right. Well, for people that don't know, and they're like, why would you name yourself that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, my name's cool. Get off my back.
And
there
we go, because YouTube made it a pain in the butt to add people as moderators, so I just fixed it out.
Sequence.
I just fixed that.
And then they'll make me get into my own head. I'm like, is it a dumb name? That's a dumb name. That's the dumbest name ever. What was I thinking? No one knows what that is. I'm not cool. Oh man, that was my biggest fear. Still is, I guess.
I mean, if anything, they could be cool. Like, who spells Mark with a C?
Well, because
it's like who spells Zach without a C? It's always there's like 15 different ways of spelling.
Watch, he's gonna be watching. Oh, let me check to see what if he's in here.
Or you have like Zach, or you have like Zach, and then Zach Brown spells his one way.
Yeah, without a K.
And then you have like, and then you also have like ZACH, but usually that's a short for Zachary.
For me, this is the first half of my name. I don't like my first name. I don't like my last name either. So it's not Mark with a K because usually when it's Mark with a K, that's the name. Like with and I learned this a little late. Like Nicholas, right? Nick is short for Nicholas unless your name is Nick, because then it would be just Nick. And then I think. I just learned from shout out to Genius Bar that John without the H is because the full name is Jonathan. If it had
except for my brother whose name is John without an H, but his name is just John.
Really? Well, if they wrote that down, then I mean, maybe your parents had somewhere to be. So just
we joked that my sister Sarah stole his H because hers is SARAH. And like every other Sarah that she went to school with was just SARA. So she was always Sarah with an H. And there's a bunch of people that spell my name wrong that would always spell EAL instead of AEL. And I get really annoyed when people call me Mike because my name is Michael. If I want to be called Mike, I would put it as Mike. My parents do it and I'll ignore them.
What about me, Kyle?
How they say it right? Mikhail.
Yeah, that's I like that. I like it personally.
That's
I
like
think it's
Russian pronunciation of
I know.
Or
I think
also
it's really
cool.
Mikhail.
The Jewish pronunciation or like biblical.
What is it? Mikhail. Oh, right, with more breathiness and
there's also the female Michael from Scripture. But that probably was pronounced differently too.
Yeah, people way in the past were weird, huh? We think we're like somewhat normal or like tolerable weird now. Watch another couple hundred years gonna be like, look at these wackos. They're gonna watch us in 4K or 1080p at least on our Shure microphones and Yetis and that.
When it comes to Mark, I mean, I've seen different ways of spelling it because I've seen it like short for Marcus. I've seen it short for anglicized version of the Spanish forms of names that just start with MARC, so they'll just shorten it to that.
Well, I mean, you know what the longer version of my name is, right? I didn't want to say it because that's how much I don't like it, but if you can guess it right, I'll tell you what it is.
Marshall is another one that I've seen as some people will.
Or you can just ignore
Sure.
me. That's cool too. This is your
The
stream.
longer form of it,
Yeah. What's my first name? You don't know what my first name is?
or Marquez is the other.
I've gotten that one. Yeah. I've gotten all of them, dude. I've gotten Marcus, Marquise.
Marsha.
Oh, come on.
No, actually, somebody I went to school with, she named her son Marshall, Marcial, because her favorite character was Marsha from the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you do that to your son?
Marsha. You know what? Is Stephanie still in here? Let me see. Let's see how loyal she
TLM
really is.
says
Oh my God, she's still in here.
Marcelo.
Marcelo. Oh, that's a good one. And also, or even Marcello, right? The same. Another
Marcello, depending on if it's the Spanish,
Sure.
Spanish
That
or
I
the
like.
Italian.
I might steal that. What do you think of Marcello
Or-
sequence? Is that okay?
Or Marciello.
That's way better than my
There's
real name.
another Marciello, which
Now I don't know if I want to tell you guys. Maybe I'll tell you
which,
guys in private. I don't because I don't know if that'll give it away. Stephanie, would it give it away, or do you want to put it in the chat? The name that you give, our clone, our mini me. She called she's like she looks just like you. So if you didn't know, that's the infamous baby mama. She's like she looks just like you. So she gave her like a girl version of my name, and it's offensive.
It's Marshmallow.
That's not what. Come on now. You got. Man.
I'm trying to think of. Oh my gosh, there's a Spanish musician, and so so Marquisha.
What an ass.
So
Hey.
I've seen
You say Mark?
I've seen Marciello as a name, Marciello. And that's because Marcio, Marcio, and Elleo means little, and it's funny because I went to school with somebody and he always joked that his name meant Little Martian. It's not really what it meant, but because it was because Marcio and Marciello.
Who says you're lying? Are you man? Wow, we've been doing this for 2 hours already. Hey, so remember I told you O-Rod was late? He just sent me the thing that he's live now. You want to go wreak havoc over there? You want to jump in? I think he'll give you the link.
I could just keep going and just be like, so that nobody leaves here and goes over. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's funny too.
No, actually, I know. Like, Easy Computer Solutions is probably streaming right now or about to.
From outer space,
of course.
Already. I bet you anything.
So sure, it's 2 hours. I can wrap this up. Mark.
Come with me over there.
Marquisha.
Oh, come on.
Marciano.
At least add the sequence part.
Marcello. Armorello. No. I was trying to think. Marciano was like
you need another one of those Seagrams.
It's like the cherries. Marciano cherries.
What do you think of this? I like that. It's an actual blender bottle brand.
Thank you for coming on by and
thanks for having me, dude. This was great.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat too, except the select few. You know who you are. But everyone else, thank you very, very much.
Thank you to let's see, go back here. Big John, who came in through earlier. Tech for Your Needs, Battery Powered, Tech 702, Tech Loving Mama. Of course, Mark, our guest.
Woo! Oh wait, here's the thing. Hold on.
Everybody but Stephanie, thank you for coming on by.
That was good.
I gained like 3 subscribers while I was in this live stream somehow.
Hey,
I was like, what the heck? Like, out of nowhere. They
I'm glad
must
I
have
could
been like,
Oh,
why is this guy not live streaming anymore?
thanks,
Unsubscribed, and then they're like, oh, he's back.
thanks
Resubscribe.
to I saw that Tech for Your Knees, Luis there also. He put my newly minted one video. It's not plural, singular. One video channel in the chat. So thanks for that, man. Always looking out.
Oh, and people watching later, I will I'll put your channel in
Oh, thanks,
the
man.
description.
I'll add you to my guest live streams playlist. You're in there with some heavy hitters. This would be channel number 7, I think I'm on. 7, but the 8th stream because Mobile Geezer had me on twice. So shout out to him too.
It's fun.
Good guy.
I like having guests on because I can talk to myself. I've gotten really good at it and like
I've seen you
interacting
do
with the
it.
chat and stuff.
I was
But
there.
it's always fun to have people on and
Oh, of course.
bounce things off from and
Oscar
and
Trent
find out like an hour and a half into a 2-hour live stream that I was not using my microphone the whole damn time. And
It's a little surprise, a little something. You don't get that unscripted. That was real. So
Tech Love and Mama says she should go in and comment on your video again.
Again,
I did that to somebody one time because I made a comment and I forgot that you could edit. So then I was like, and then I went back later and I was like, I just grabbed it and edited the original and threw it in. So they would have gotten like 4 notifications because they would have seen that like comment, and then like an edited comment fixed, and then like a comment was deleted. So I was like, oh, I hope they don't have every notification on.
You thought it was Twitter, huh? That whole like, damn it, no edit button. You're like, wait a minute, yes there is. Tech Lovin'. She says do a live with her or else. Well, what about
I
me?
invite her all the time.
What about me? Hold on, wait. Let me plead my case. Tech Lovin' Mama, the hair that you have, the hair that I have.
That can account for my hair that's missing now.
You gotta have hair to be on the live streams. I mean, come on, those are the rules. I didn't make them. She did with her dreads made them. Gotta listen to the dreads. Dreads are king, right? Help me out here. Say something.
So we will see everybody in the next live stream, whenever that is. It may or may not. Probably
planned or otherwise. Yes, definitely. Thanks again.
Like I said, Twitter is the best place to find out when I'm going to be live next, just because I would think I thought about doing one this weekend, but then like if my fold shows up Monday, I don't want to do like a live stream on Saturday night and then do another one. Like I guess I could do another one Monday. I mean, Viper's streaming every night, so I guess there isn't, but I just don't like to do that to people, especially then like launch a video also the same day and have people getting annoyed with notifications. And
they can turn them off. Don't worry about that.
They can, but I would rather they don't, because then they might miss videos that I actually want them to come on and see.
Well, then they'll miss it. Who cares, right? Do you want the person who's okay with missing your stuff?
No, that's true.
Exactly. For more wisdom like this, head over to, where's the camera? I forget where it is on this thing. They should put it up top. They really should. Check out whatever next stream I'm going to pop on for more shenanigans.
Yeah, let Oscar know. If he wants to send me the link, I'll probably come on over.
I wanted to secure the commitment from you before your potential rejection. Because I mean, you know what I mean? At least.
He just sends it to me and I'll be like, Mark.
He's going to leave me out.
Mark sent me a link. Who's Mark? Is that the guy that I randomly invited to my live stream tonight, or is that a different Mark? Like,
hello. That, you took a gamble, and I would say it paid off. No, maybe let the viewers decide whether it paid off or not. Hey, you got 11 likes. I don't know if this update. Does this updated? That's awesome. That's good. You got 100%.
Appreciate you all.
Good job.
As I will say, my name is Michael Pepper of Michael Pepper Tech. I don't only talk tech, but I live it. God bless you all, and I'll see you all in the next live stream. Peace out.
I'm a mod. Woohoo!